We're going to start by making the game environment, which means building the nighttime, high-rise skyscraper scene that forms the backdrop for the game. We're going to do most of this with an SK Sprite Node subclass for buildings that sets up physics, draws the building graphic, and ultimately handles a building being hit by stray bananas. Are you ready to flex your core graphics muscle? In Xcode, press Command-N to make a new file, choose iOS, Cocoa Touch class, and press Next. I'll make this thing a subclass of SK Sprite Node, and I'll call it Building Node. Then press Next, and Create to make it. Straight away, Xcode will be very happy with us because we have a SK Sprite Node here, but we haven't imported Sprite Kit. So I'll add an import for Sprite Kit up here, like that. And that will clear the error. Now initially, this class needs to have 3 methods. Setup will do the basic work required to make this thing a building, setting its name, setting its texture, and setting its physics. Second, configure physics will set up per pixel physics for the sprite's current texture. And third, draw building will do the core graphics rendering of a building, returning as a UI image. Now in amongst those 3 points was one small thing you might have missed: the sprite's current texture. This tells you the texture will change as bits get blown off by those exploding bananas. To make this work, we're going to keep a copy of the building's texture as a UI image so we can modify it later on. Before we dive into the code, we need to define some collision bit masks. This is the same as the bit masks we've used before, except now we need only 3 categories: buildings, bananas, and players. In the case of buildings, the only thing they'll collide with is a banana, which triggers our explosion. So in GameScene.Swift, outside of the class definition, we'll add this. enum collision types is a uint32 behind the scenes, that's its raw value. We'll say case banana has a value of 1, case building has a value of 2, and case player has a value of 4. Just like before, these values double each time. Okay, back to building node.swift. First, we'll add a UI image that stores the current texture being used for the building. We'll say var current image is a UI image implicitly unwrapped. Next, we'll make our setup method. We'll say func setup. The name of this thing is building. Its current image is going to be a draw building call, that'll come shortly, at some size. Our texture will be an SKTexture of that image. And finally, configure our physics. Now, both the methods draw building and configure physics don't exist yet, but that's okay, we'll write them in just a minute. First, configure physics. We'll say func configure physics. And this thing will start by saying make our physics body equal to a new SK physics body using our texture force unwrap at our size. So make a new physics body using our current texture every time this is called. Of course, this building shouldn't move around with gravity, it'll stay fixed in space. So we'll say physics body (is dynamic) is false. And physics body (category bit mask), what it is, happens to be a collision types .building .raw value. I'm going to hide this bar on the right to make some more space. There we go. And for what its contact test bit mask is, we'll set that to be collision types .banana .raw value. So we're told about collisions with bananas. Now there's still an error here because we're calling draw building with some sort of size and assigning it to our UI image, but this method does not exist yet. And this draw building method is where your core graphics skills will really come to life. It's going to create a new core graphics context the size of our building, fill it with rectangle that's one of 3 colors, draw windows all over the building, either light on or light off, yellow or grey, and then pull out the result as a UI image and return it for use back in our setup method. Now there's nothing complicated in there so far, but just to keep you on your toes, I'm going to introduce a new way to create colors: hue, saturation, and brightness, or HSB. Using this method of making colors, you specify values between 0 and 1 to control how saturated a color is, from 0 grey to 1 pure color, and its brightness from 0 black to 1 maximum brightness, and 0 to 1 for hue. Hue is a position on a color wheel, like using a color picker on your Mac. Hue 0 and 1 both represent red, with all other colors lying in between. Now, some developers think HSB, hue, saturation and brightness is much clumsier than using RGB, but there are reasons for both. The helpful thing about HSB is, if you keep the saturation and brightness constant, changing the hue value will cycle through all possible colors. It's an easy way to generate matching pastel colors, for example. There's one more thing you need to know, but you'll be pleased to know it's a fairly basic Swift feature that we just haven't needed to use so far. It's a function called stride, which lets you loop from one number to another with a specific interval. We're going to use this to count from the left edge of the building to the right edge in intervals of 40, i.e. counting in 40s, 40, 80, 120, 160 and so on, as a way to position our windows more easily. We'll also do this vertically to position the windows across the whole height of the building. To make it more attractive, we'll actually indent the left and right edges by 10 points. Let's give it a try now. I'll say func, draw building, at some sort of CG size, returns a new UI image. Inside there, we'll immediately say let renderer equals a new UI graphics image renderer at the size that was passed in. Then say let our image equals renderer.image with the context being passed in. First, we'll say a rectangle the size of our entire building. We'll say let rectangle equals CG rect with x being 0, y being 0, width being our full width, and height being our full height. For the color, this will be a random value. So I'll say let color is a UI color, then switch int.random in 0 through 2. If we are 0, then we'll use the color value of UI color using the HSB initializer. Now, these colors are very precise. I've sampled them actually from the original DOS game, so they're exactly right. The value here is 0.502, saturation 0.98, brightness 0.67, alpha 1. That's case 0. For case 1, we'll say our color is UI color, hue being 0.999, saturation is 0.99, brightness 0.67 again, and alpha 1. And for default values, i.e. all other cases, we will say our color is UI color hue 0, saturation 0, brightness 0.67, alpha 1. So those are 3 possible colors we want to make our buildings. Next, let's set that color. We can say color.setFill and use ctx.cgcontext.addRect in our rectangle and ctx.cgcontext.drawPath. I'm going to say .fill. So fill in that building shape in our image. Next, we'll make 2 more UI colors to represent lights being off or on in every window in the building. We can say let light on color equals a UI color. Again, I'll use HSB. So hue is going to be 0.19, saturation will be 0.67, brightness 0.99, alpha 1. And then let light off color equals UI color, HSB again, hue 0, saturation 0, brightness 0.34, alpha 1. So we have 2 colors for light randomly across the building. So now we can loop over all the rows and columns for our light in the entire building, either drawing a light on or light off. You can say for row in, stride from 10 at our 10-point indent to the integer form of size.height minus 10 by 40. I go up 40 points each time. Start that loop. That's our rows. And for our columns is for col in stride from 10 to int size.width minus 10 by 40. So a nested loop here. And then we'll say if bool.random. So if we get back true randomly. If so, we'll say light on color dot set fill else light off color dot set fill. Use either the on color or the off color randomly. And finally, we can draw in that light at a width of 15, height of 20, a nice long thin light. We can say ctx.cgcontext.fill and pass this a cgrect, where the x is our col, y is our row, width is 15, and height is 20. That'll actually draw our light. And finally, down here, where the method ends, I will return img to return that image back to be used in our main scene. The only new things in there, and they're so tiny you might not even have noticed, is my use of dot fill here, rather than dot stroke to draw the rectangles, plus my use of bool.random to generate either true or false randomly. That's the building node class finished for now. We're going to return to it later on to add a method that we call whenever it's hit by a banana. Back in GameScene.Swift, we've got a small amount of work to do to use these new building nodes to build our night sky scene. First, we'll add a property that will store an array of buildings. I'll say in my game scene, var buildings equals an array of building node, like that. We'll be using that to figure out where to place players later on. At this point, the didMoveTo method down here needs to do only two things. Give the scene a dark blue color to represent the night sky, and then call a method called createBuildings that will create the actual buildings itself. So inside there, we'll say background color equals a UI color with the hue 0.669, saturation 0.99, brightness 0.67, and alpha 1. And then we'll call createBuildings. That doesn't exist yet, but that's okay. This createBuildings method is the important one here, and calling it will finish our background scene. It needs to move horizontally across the screen, filling space with buildings of various sizes until it hits the far edge of the screen. I'm going to make it start at -15 rather than the left edge, so the buildings look like they keep on going past the screen edge. I'm also going to leave a 2-point gap between the buildings to distinguish their edges slightly more. Each building needs to be a random size. For the height, it can be anything between 300 and 600 points high. For the width, I want to make sure it divides evenly into 40 so our window drawing code is simple. So we'll generate a random number between 2 and 4, then multiply that by 40 to give us buildings that are 80, 120 or 160 points wide. Let's start writing the code for that now. So we can say func createBuildings, start at the current x value, which is a CG float, -15. So just off the left edge of the screen. Now, for as long as we haven't yet hit the right edge of the screen, carry on making buildings. So we can say while current x is less than 1024, the right edge of the screen. We'll say our size is the CG size with a width of int.random in 2 through 4 times 40. So could be 80 or 120 or 160. And the height value we'll say is int.random in 300 through 600. So any integer between those two values. Next, we'll move along our current x value, plus equals that width, plus 2 points more to have a little bit of spacing between buildings. And we'll create our new building node there. We'll say let building equals a building node. Using a fixed color, I'll say .red and that size. For its position, we can say building dot position equals a CG point of our current x value minus size.width divided by 2. Remember, these buildings are centered on their middle part of themselves. That's where SpriteKit positions them from. We're going to move this thing across by half our width to offset that center point anchoring. That's the x value. And for the y, we'll again just halve their height. So y will be size.height divided by 2. We'll then say building.setup, which remember creates its building texture, adds physics and so on. Then add child, that building, so it's in the game scene. Finally, buildings.append, building. So we can keep track of all the buildings in our game very easily, so we know where to create the players. Now please remember, you want to select the lowest spec iPad from the simulator options up here. That's probably iPad 6th generation or iPad Air 3rd generation, one of those two. And when you're ready, I've got a slight typo here, sorry about that. Should be equal 15, obviously. When you're ready, press Command R to build and run your code, and let's see how it looks. Okay, that's pretty close, not far off. It should actually be a mistake here on the left, you see. I think I've said 15, it should be minus 15. That is my mistake, we don't want that. For the building color, it's all correct. This code's absolutely fine. It seems to randomly give us only 2 color buildings. We only have red and grey here. Let me try running it again, see if it's any better the second time around. Let's find out. Okay, now we have 3 color buildings. Hooray for randomness.